tying like how tying boxing into the stock market, the way I see things. I don't know. I was like, should I put this out? I took some notes. So if you do see the video, I did take some quick notes, just coming from a friend's house here and just driving because I'm leaving. So I said, let me just, how do I get out of here? Out in the burbs right now. Um, yeah. So what's up, everybody? How they disrespected and had the audacity to disrespect Crawford. All these so-called boxing experts, all these so-called boxing people, pundits, talking heads, the ones that thought I laugh every time Canelo was gonna come in there and knock out Crawford. What's up with the disrespect? I mean, how could they assume such a ridiculous outcome if you know boxing? If you truly know boxing, I know people you get one wrong like to say you don't know nothing about boxing, but honestly, when it comes to Crawford being knocked out by Canelo, that's you know nothing about boxing moment, and it's just so funny to me that someone like a trainer like Robert Garcia can't even just admit that he was wrong. He's saying Canelo did nothing because he was thwarted by a complete skill and outclassed. I don't need someone on Netflix. I don't need some ESPN talking head on $1 million a year plus salary or whatever they're getting to tell me that Crawford was somehow going to be defeated by Canelo. I mean, I don't need to hear that and parrot it before a fight. So I didn't watch any of that garbage. But I see after some people talking, and that Mario Lopez guy, oh boy, did he get it wrong. That guy knows nothing. He truly doesn't know about boxing. He's just a hired former kid actor that's happens to like boxing, and he happens to love Canelo. He's in love with him, so he's talking all that junk before the fight, saying Crawford hits like ping pongs. He's going to do nothing to Canelo. This guy knows nothing, really nothing. Because if you would have just watched the Floyd Mayweather fight, Floyd Mayweather with his brittle hands, how his punches were just hurting Canelo and keeping Canelo off him. They were bothering him for sure. No, these people know nothing. They really don't. But anyway, I'm live. What's up? I'm sorry, I'm driving. I cannot read comments. Um, I want to tell you people though, it's crazy though how I made a video about how I saved my first 100K. I know nobody wants to hear that, but I did. I managed to save my first 100K a while back, and I comparatively did it, broke it down like how I watch boxing stats. The stats on fighters like a Floyd Mayweather would be like a blue chip, amazing SPY ETF going up. I made a whole video about it, and then I would track the market like I tracked boxing geniuses and prodigies like Floyd Mayweather, Crawford. You know, it's just the way I think because I love boxing, and I tied it in long ago with the stats on the stock market. I know nothing about finance. I'm not a financial advisor, but yet somehow I'm doing pretty damn good because of it. So yeah, I can't see anything right now. Just decided to go live. The screen is it's sunny out. I want to talk about Thurman real quick. If you're a boxing fan, and I looked at now, I'm gonna just say I really didn't do the deepest dive on this Sebastian Fundora, but Fundora, from what I see of him, he's gonna have a lot of problems. Keith Thurman is not one to be slept on. Keith Thurman's a well-rounded 36-year-old fighter, and this Fundora guy, I looked at his style. It's awful. His neck is straight up. He leans. He's got awful habits. He doesn't usually utilize his height, his reach. As tough as he is, yeah, he beat Constantine's son. Who the hell was Constantine's son? They're handing out titles. They're killing boxing. They're handing out titles like candy. You don't know who belongs to what title is which. Should be like the UFC. There should only be one title. Somehow, us boxing fans got suckered and hoodwinked and punked over the years. We got punked. We settled for this multiple title BS. There should only be one title. It pisses me off per weight division. They ruined boxing long ago when they started introducing these greedy promoters. They started introducing multiple titles to one division. It's all about money. Get a couple of your rich crypto friends together and let's come up with a title. Come on. Oh, I have 100 grand right now. I could invest in a title. Let me get a couple people. Let's make a whole new title and get it strapped around a boxer's waist and pimp the fighter out, make money off more titles. Anyway, Sebastian Fundora has one of these titles because I don't see this guy honestly as a real champion. He was knocked out in devastating fashion Only a few years ago, was it 2 years ago? I remember watching the fight. His head bounced off the canvas. It was ridiculous, people. It was ridiculous. A fight of this that causes so much trauma, a knockout like that. Just like I said with Adrian Broner early on this video, I have the receipts. Back in the day, it might have been 2012 or 13. I was sitting on a plane. I was coming or going to Europe. Yes, I was. And I remember I was like, Adrian Broner will never be a billionaire. All about the billions. He'd be lucky to have millions. I was going on about how he's not going to be how he's not going to be Floyd Mayweather. I spotted it early. To be a great fighter, you to well, we'll say Crawford because he's the most recent in the era of amazing, great prodigies. You have to have the physical and you have to have the mental. Mentally, I just saw a video clip of Zab Judah today. I like Zab Judah. I ran into him years ago at a CVS. God's honest, true story. I ran into Zab Judah on Long Island at a CVS about 2 weeks before the Cotto fight. My man was in CVS at 2 in the morning, and I said he's gonna lose. I knew it. I said, this guy's not effing serious. He's running around. I said, what are you doing at CVS at 2 in the morning? He told me he lived. This is all facts. This is all facts. I got a picture somewhere on an old computer hard drive to prove it if you ever want to call me out on it. And I'm looking at him like, you're Zab Judah. You're 2 weeks out in New York City, MSG. You're about to have a major fight with Cotto, a major opportunity like this. He needed me to advise him. He needed someone like me to be real with him and say, dude, you're not taking this fight seriously. You're going to lose a huge opportunity. Why I'm making this point with boxers is you got to hear this. Zab Judah had in my opinion, all the physical gifts to be a pound for pound legend. But he was lacking one thing, most importantly. They say it, you hear about it, maybe it's 75% up, maybe 85% mental. He lacked discipline, mental discipline, and you saw it earlier on because I'm tying it in with the Zeus son not being as good. He's the old man. He's not that good, and that's why he lost. Anyway, he he lost Zab Judah to Kostya Tszyu back in the day, whereas magazines back then, any fight articles were telling you, Zab Judah, this kid is amazing. He's going to dominate this Kostya Tszyu. It's going to be the changing of the guard. He's going to win the title. He's going to take it all, and he's going to be the next big thing in boxing. Not even looking at Floyd. Zab Judah, it was all about Zab. He lacked mental discipline, and you saw it in that fight. You saw it when he got up. You saw he got knocked down. Okay, let's just say he didn't get, his legs were out. The referee, he attacked the referee. That said it all. He lost his cool, lost his composure. Floyd Mayweather would never have done such a thing. Floyd Mayweather had it up here. He has psychologically, he's together. Zab Judah, like I said, had it all. Physical attributes, speed, timing, southpaw, amazing fighter. I ran into him. I was so disappointed when I ran into him in that CVS on that night back in the day. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, Zab, what are you doing? It's 2 in the morning. You're running around CVS. He was looking at me like, yeah, I had to get some things. So he had to run in. He just wasn't right. I could see it. I said, he's going to lose. I think it was Cotto. He's going to the fight with Cotto at the Garden. I said, this dude's going to lose this fight. Zab's going to lose. Exactly what happened. So you got to have it all. When you have a great pound for pound fighter and you're watching them, so their physical attributes, their boxing IQ has to match the mental. If mentally they don't have it together, it's a wrap. They could knock out people. They could do really well for until a certain level. They're gonna come up against mental pressure. That is an opponent that really deciphers their style and really figures them out. And where Crawford, if someone figured his style out, that's the amazing thing with Crawford. He would change on a dime. So you can't figure him out because he has multiple styles, multiple layers. I mean, the guy just should retire now, undefeated, one of the best to ever do it. It takes so much for a fighter to be that great. Okay, you have your Fundora type of guys. They're fan-friendly type of fighters. But Keith Thurman's people should be happy. I got to do more of a deep dive before I make my final opinion on an analysis if you're looking for predictions, because sometimes I get them wrong. How is Keith Thurman going to show up at 36 in the ring? He looked pretty good in his last fight. The knock is he lost to Pacquiao, a 40-year-old Pac, when he was Keith Thurman was about 31, 32. I guess I have no notes in front of me. I'm driving. But don't be fooled. Pacquiao is the type of fighter he can get to a 40, and he's such an unorthodox, amazing style, and he's such a cagey veteran that where he could win a fight at 40 on an upset in a close fight, and he flash knocked down Keith Thurman. Fundora's not that. So 36-year-old Keith Thurman coming into this fight could really shoot straight punches. This guy's neck is straight up. The guy doesn't bob and weave. He doesn't have the head movement. He has this Fundora guy. I'm telling you, has developed bad habits. He has bad habits. And he got away with the bad habits for so long because his trainers haven't corrected him. Now he's 27, and he's got all these bad habits because he's so tall and so unorthodox and so long, and he doesn't fight long. He doesn't use his style as a taller fighter. He doesn't use all those gifts. And I watched him. All I needed to do was watch the Zoo highlights, and I saw that this guy has major problems, but it makes for an exciting fight. Now, if Keith Thurman comes in the ring and he has the speed and his footwork's not, and his legs aren't 40 years old at 36 that night, he should just he does all the basics just good enough to beat Fundora. Not only that, he should knock Sebastian out. Really, he should be going straight up the middle early, and don't get greedy. Use the footwork, but keep going constantly right in the middle. Right, shoot straight for the neck, and he's going to win on a knockout. It's simple as that. Keith Thurman applies the basics, and unless he ages out on that night, he should win. From what this is what my eyes are saying. But now I got to go back and look at Fundora's total record. Who did he fight besides Zoo's son? Again, he knocked. This is where people get confused. He stopped Zoo's son, and he quit in the corner on the last fight. He appeared. He was on a knock. He's gonna KO him. Don't be fooled by that, because when you have Keith Thurman, this guy's from a different era, different cloth. He's on the way out, whereas Sebastian's in a 27-year-old. He's in a new generation. But guys like Keith Thurman, KG veterans at 36, are dangerous, and they're really good at what they do. They have a lot of tricks up their sleeves, and Keith Thurman is smart as an effing whip. And he'll be a great he's a great gift to boxing. He's a great commentator. He has so many good things about him. But besides that, that's out of the ring. Keith Thurman in the ring. I'm trying to read this. If I crash, Fundora is what? I'm sorry. I can't. I'm driving. Thank you for commenting. I'm seeing people are in there. But Keith Thurman should not be slept on for this fight. This guy is a power puncher. Yeah, he can catch Keith Thurman, but ask yourself, was Keith Thurman ever brutally knocked out? And look who knocked this Fundora guy out at such a young age. Fighters like him aren't devastated, are knocked out that early in their careers at 25 on such a devastating fashion. That creates pathways in the brain. Getting psychological, because boxing is a lot of it's psychological. He has those new paths in his brain, and he took the damage, and he's been in waters now where he's been devastated. He's been knocked out, and not just like a flash knockdown. It was a devastating knockout. Keith Thurman can remind him of all of that. All he has to do is impose himself and start landing on Sebastian and hurt him. And then if he's human, this guy, psychologically, he's going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to get knocked out. But it's up to Keith Thurman. That's on Keith Thurman to plant those psychological seeds of doubt. I'm telling you, boxing, it's physical, and it's a big time psychological. Because again, tying it in with Zab Judah, there's so many fighters. Yurokis Gamboa, another one, had everything. This guy was a Cuban fighter. He was amazing. You could see he had Crawford, the only one that I could see that hurt Crawford late, but Crawford was just too great. But I'm telling you, he lacked discipline. He lacked mental fortitude in the fight when he's backed against the wall in these psychological battles, because it becomes physical, and then it becomes psychological. The will to continue. Like when Teddy Atlas urged on Michael Moorer versus Foreman, he knew Teddy Atlas is really good at this. He should have been a psychologist. He was, or a therapist, a shrink, a psychologist, or what's the other one? But Teddy Atlas had him in the corner, and he was like urging on Michael Moorer throughout that Foreman fight, because he knew Michael Moorer lacked. He had it all physically, but he lacked his mental. He lacked the maturity in his mind. He was emotionally not 100%, so he was urging him in that fight in the corner, which is very important to watch that play out in boxing history, because you could see how Michael Moorer, Teddy Atlas was trying to turn it around, but there's a lot of fighters that they just lack the mental. They have everything. They look great, but They don't have it mentally. So that does come into a play in like with someone that has been knocked out in devastated fashion as well, like Fundora, because he's been knocked out there. It's like a scar, it's like an old wound. The wound will come back if Keith Thurman does everything right and on the night, like I said, he's well rounded, he has good footwork. I don't know how he's gonna look at 36 because at 36 different fighters age out differently. I'm trying to see this comment here. I can't see it. What's up, everybody? So anyway, I think Keith Thurman is being a little slept on here. I don't know the odds makers have this at. I didn't look. I don't like to look around in the boxing sphere online. I have my own opinions. I don't want to be influenced. Like I said, if Joe Rogan says something, people parrot it because he has a lot of followers. I had a guy telling me Joe Rogan's a genius. Joe Rogan's a genius. He knows boxing like nobody else. But did Joe Rogan pick Crawford to win and do what I said? Did he say he's going to outbox him? It's going to look quite easy. I don't know. I don't buy into this genius BS because someone has a lot of followers. I have a lot of followers on another one of my YouTube channels. Am I some sort of a genius? Hell no. Um, People get caught up in hype. They get caught up in followers. They get caught up in flash. On my last video, I just recorded it. I started dropping how I look at ETFs, the stock market, and tied it into boxing. How I kind of I kind of saved my first 100 grand off of, doing certain moves and looking at it like the stock market, looking at index funds that track the stock market, Warren Buffett style. And I just started looking at it all and pulled over so I can maybe start reading some comments. And I applied it to boxing stats, how I see it. And like Crawford, I looked at Crawford. I have my notes right here. I just scribbled down some notes before the video. Crawford was slow, patient, like QQQ over time. That's an index fund, heavy on tech. Canelo was the hype. Crawford was the safe, the value play. Not flashy, not Crawford is not a flashy fighter. Canelo all hype, more like a meme coin. They sold you fools gold, and I saw that long ago with Canelo. The way you make money with a fighter like Canelo is you just keep him away from people like Floyd Mayweather, Bivol, GGG. I don't care. He lost the GG fight, and you Lara, you face him against people he can beat. Now, someone like myself, I'm a good matchmaker. I could have a guy like Canelo and build him up and make him look like a pound for pound legend. Sell him to the public and tell you he's never going to lose. That's why, again, even after the Floyd loss, they rebuilt Canelo. They built him up. They sold the public, and people believed this man was going to be Godzilla and go in there and straight up knock out Crawford, which was crazy. In fact, they did such a good job at it that people were expecting him to be towering over when they're look at the height. It's just basically the same, towering over Crawford, and physically he was going to be so much bigger. Meanwhile, he's in there with Floyd back in the day. I mean, you could the marketing that you can do with boxing, it's a product. You could take a product like this hand sanitizer because it's closest to me. I could sell you this and tell you so many good things about this product, this hand sanitizer through commercials, have you believe in it. And they had people gassed and hoodwinked and punked. They had people thinking Canelo was a pound for pound legend, like somewhere like he was so amazing and so great when he really was never. He's just a really good fighter, really good. That's what makes it so special. What Crawford did at 38, basically he was turning 38 in the ring against a younger Canelo, and that's what makes him so damn special, Crawford. Anyway, here's my live stream. Sorry I couldn't read the comments. I just pulled over to talk to you guys. Should I leave this one up or it's whack? Tell me what I should do. Should I delete it? I don't know. No, I'm not going to delete it. Oh, okay. So Thurman is a really good fighter. I mean, think about how many fighters, all the experience and all the people who Thurman's been in there with. So I would think that Sebastian's people think this is a patent record opportunity. He's going to get Thurman on his resume. It's going to look really good for him to win. And it would look really good for him to win. I could be wrong. Of course I could be wrong. I got to look at who Sebastian fought. Like I said, I got to go back and look at more video on him to make my final conclusion. But from what I've watched, he's in trouble because he's bad. That Nazim Hamed. Remember Nazim Hamed versus Kevin Kelly in the Garden? Go watch that fight. One of my favorite fights. I would put that on my top 15 all-time best fights ever. Nazim Hamed got exposed. Back in the day, I had a boxing show when I was in college. It was FM throughout the city. And I was telling everybody, Hamed was going to lose big. He was undefeated going to the fight with Beretta. And I knew Marco Antonio Beretta was the better fighter, and I knew he was going to clean his clock. And I remember one guy, I'll never forget, he worked at Home Depot. He was asking me who's going to win the fight because he knew I knew boxing. I was like, Hamed's going to lose. Don't bet on him. After that fight, he came to me, goes, man, you saved me so much money. Thank you so much. Just keep slapping me 5 over and over, hugging me. I was really betting on him, man. You were right. How do you know boxing like that? I couldn't believe it. Because his neck, my man had a rubber neck. Yo, I see the same thing with Thurman's opponent, with I see Sebastian. His neck, man, that neck is just like, it reminds me of like Street Fighter 2, Dallism, that neck, that stretched neck. Yo, that neck is just problematic. His style is problematic. He fights close. He fights not like he's tall. He's got no head movement. I think I think if it's not Thurman, but it's gonna be someone else. This guy's gonna face a devastating knockout. Goodbye title. He's gonna be knocked out, and it's gonna be ugly again. And he doesn't have the type of long career. Fighters like him that take shots like this, they don't last long. They don't last long. Fighters that are in wars like this, the fighters like Keith Thurman that are well-rounded, they last long. They're not involved in continuous wars, head damage, knockouts. I mean, a brutal knockout like that, unfortunately, it's probably gonna happen again unless they correct it, and they can't correct it at 27. He's already into his bad habits. Most fighters, from what I see, once they're 27, they're pretty much set in their ways. You see that over time. I got a new trainer. I'm working on this now, switching my style up. Very rarely does a fighter switch up their style at such an age, at 27, and become something else and improve little things maybe, but not the way he's fighting. This Fundora guy, he's like this tall pole right here, this paper, and Keith Thurman is like this all over. It's just all neck, knockout. It's just going to be over. I don't know. If he gets through Thurman, quite possibly it could happen. Someone else is going to do it. He's not going to be a great one of the top guys. I want to see who's going to emerge as the next. We don't know yet. I got to watch more. I need more evidence. I need more fights. Who's going to be the next Floyd? Who's going to be the next Crawford? Who's going to be the next Pac in this era coming up? We'll see what happens. But I'm telling you, boxing is psychological. There's so much when you're doing fight analysis and you're breaking fights down. You see these people, by the way. I came across a channel. They show you a Crawford Canelo post fight, and they're showing you this is how Crawford won. But before the fight, they weren't saying any of this. I was telling you this before the fight, how it was going to play out, and exactly that happened. Control. Many ways. Sorry, I missed that. I was telling you before the fight how it was going to play out, and it came out much like that. Even, and I have receipts on this channel if you doubt me. I told you, I'm not right all the time, but I'm pretty 70, 75, 80. Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao. I'm a huge Pac fan, and I said right on his channel many, many moons ago, the fight was going to be anticlimactic. I remember putting on a screen. Didn't get a lot of views. I made it like a boring video. I didn't clickbait it, and I said Manny Pacquiao, who my favorite fighter at the time too, one of my favorite fighters, is going to lose in a boring fight to Floyd Mayweather because I knew the styles. I knew what Floyd was capable of. You could hate Floyd all day, but you could throw Floyd in there with everyone at that time in his era, and nobody was going to beat him. It's very rare. Boots past the eye. Boots. What do you say? Boots past the eye test. I'll check them out. But I want to say this. I knew Canelo in the first fight with Floyd was going to be. I said Floyd was going to make it look like a boxing exhibition. Floyd was just going to box circles around him because I knew what I was dealing with. I watched Canelo enough going into that Floyd fight where he just wasn't at that level. It's just real talk. But they're building statues and celebrating Canelo. I get it. But I kind of don't get it. Like he is on Floyd's level, and like he would, and I'm like, this is crazy. It's all marketing. I get it. If you're from Mexico, he's your countryman. You want to see him, and you want to cheer for him. I get it. But if you're just sold a fantasy, and you're telling me that this guy was going to get knocked out, I mean, people will they rematch? I don't think they. If Canelo versus Crawford rematch, it has to be done quick, because Canelo would probably prefer like GGG getting closer to 40 for Crawford. Crawford and Canelo would have to rematch. I would say don't fight him. They can't sit on this long, Crawford's people, and let Canelo get a win on him because the age will beat everybody. Right now, 6 months. I would give Crawford 6 months, and he would possibly knock out Canelo. We already heard him late in the fight. You could see the evidence of that. He could knock him out if he wanted to. Really, I believe it truly. But they can't wait over a year. Otherwise, things aren't going to hold up. Because if you're 38 going on 39, and you're competing against someone even 3 years younger, there's problems. When you're age, the father time beats everybody. Thanks for the comments, by the way. I can't. Crawford might fight at middleweight. Crawford should have, if he wants, he should have a goodbye fight, pad the bank account. But honestly, he could do it with the Jake Paul type, which is awful. The Jake Paul's types fights of the world, those exhibition fights, which are awful. They're taking away from boxing. That's a whole nother topic, a can of worms. And again, Max Kellerman saying this was the golden age of boxing right now at the end of that Netflix broadcast, only because he's on Netflix's payroll and he's got a major career, would you shovel such horse BS? Horse. The only golden age is those fights, the fake boxing fights, I call them. They're like wrestling. There is no golden age. You got disjointed. It's so broken up. You got different apps. You don't know who's fighting where. There is no golden age. The golden age has passed. We watched it already years ago. Decades. It already happened. It's because of the different. You got broadcast TV, you got PBC, you got DAZN, you got Netflix, you got this, you got that, look, we had to wait forever for Crawford to fight Spence, different promoters, Hagen, whereas back in the day you had HBO, Showtime, and ESPN, occasionally network TV. You knew where the big championship fight was. Now you don't know where. You don't know where anything is. It's a wrap. Missed that. Was it Floyd? I think it was Floyd Mayweather versus Crawford. Did you ask? I don't know. I would have to think about that one. Yo, what's up? People are in here. Pro Box on YouTube. I don't know what that is. I just said it though. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of boxing videos on YouTube. Like I said, I don't like unless like when Robert Garcia popped up. I don't like to see other people's opinions because it will influence. I just think it will influence me somehow. I just like to call it like I see it. That works for me. Like when I saw everybody was saying one thing after the fight, Canelo. When I saw Vegas had Canelo as the favorite, I was shocked. I didn't really know at first that he was the favorite. I was like, damn. That's why I started putting up titles. Vegas got it wrong. As an opportunity, if you're betting, I'm not endorsing gambling. I would say put it in my whole opinion, not a financial advisor. Put it on S&P 500 because you won't lose over time. It just keeps going up, up, and up. I came from nothing. I made a video about it. I came from nothing. My dad was taping my shoe on a corner when I was a kid with duct tape. Feeling broke was awful. And your boy right here saved his first 100 grand by not flexing, living humble. And when I got to the first 100 grand, it didn't even feel real. I'm looking on the screen like, oh my God. I remember I had $16,000 saved. And I looked at it. I was like, wow, that's 16 grand. And 50 grand and 70 grand and 90 grand, 100 grand. I'm like, wow, that used to be like, that's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but I'm never going to see it. It's crazy. I made a whole video about it. I think I'm going to put it out next. I uploaded it. I'm like, should I make this public? I know it's a lot of money for some people. I have all types of friends from all walks of life. Some want financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I told my friend I'd take him to Fidelity. One friend, the same friend I'm talking about, he wanted it wasn't unsolicited advice. I said, look, it's just like a blue chip prospect fighter. He likes boxing. I'm like, you go to Fidelity, you're investing on a fighter that's never going to lose. You go to Fidelity with me. I'll hold your hand if you want me to. Same guy I'm talking about lives check to check, has better phone than me, better car than me, lives in a rent control apartment, lives check to check, really doesn't have any money. He finally got money as an inheritance, 10 grand a couple of years ago. I'm pissed off at him. I told him what to do with it. All of a sudden, he didn't want financial advice again. You know what he did? He threw I won't say because I don't want to get exact just in case he sees it. He threw a party. He threw a party with the 10 grand. A party. A party. That money right now could be 15 grand. Had he listened to me, what I was telling him to do could be 15 going on 16 grand. It's a couple of years ago, like 4 years ago, he got this money. I was telling him what to do with it. It makes me mad. Then I have another friend. He listened to me, and now he knows the stock market even arguably better than me. But anyway, yeah, so if you're watching this, I'm just saying you should definitely look at, like, you like, Crawford is a great fighter, right? Just imagine you having Crawford type of never losing money just over time. I'm not a financial advisor. I'll say it one more time, but I'm just saying it's slow. It's not sexy. It's not exciting, but it's real. If you look at QQQ or a VU or SPY, you look at index funds like high quality ETFs, they're constantly going up. Some of them are 16% this last year. Um, I got I got some great ones. It's the way these BS financial gurus, a lot of them allegedly, I'm not saying names so they can't sue me. They're full of it. They sell YouTube courses and they make their money. Whereas you could just go watch a free video of Warren Buffett. They sell courses and then they flex and floss. They're from their jet or their rented condo in the background, scamming and scheming and selling courses. That's how they're enriching themselves. They have courses. It's bull. It's bull. I've never spent a dime on anyone's course. I don't listen to any of these clowns, these fake financial gurus. They're making money off courses on YouTube. You get a couple people to buy your course at a couple $100s, you get rich too. They're not getting rich off their own market advice in their course. They're getting rich off the suckers buying their courses. Suckers